What's going on, everyone? It's your boy Savvy, at it again, bringing you guys another light novel reading to chapter 45, which is the corresponding chapter of 87 in the webcomic of the beginning after the end. So if you guys are excited for these light novel readings, please let's smash that like button. I know most of you guys are waiting for the next light novel reading from me, and I'm happy to bring it today. So yeah, let's get 100 likes for this video. Like what I always say too, a like takes less than a second and it's 100% free, and it will mean the world to me. So it would be much appreciated if you could like the video, especially if you enjoyed my content and you guys like the beginning after the end. It would be highly appreciated. And also remember to smash the sub button if you're not already part of the family. If you haven't made that jump yet, let's get you to make that jump this video. If you love beginning after the end, if you love my content, this is going to be the best place to be and you won't regret it. And also, I do have a Patreon. If you guys are intrigued and want to check out all my reactions to every single chapter of the beginning after the end thus far, it will be all on my Patreon for you guys to dive deep. It will be all over there, and other future reactions of like solo leveling and other series that will be Patreon exclusive with just the way YouTube is. A lot of shit ain't safe. So yo, if you want to get all the heat, find it on Patreon and also on Discord. That's another important place if you still want to get my reactions of certain series that won't be on my channel via solo leveling or begin after the end. Hit me up on Discord, join Discord, and then I'll notify you guys before I go live every single time I react to those series, and you guys can catch it for free. So yeah, all you gotta do is just make the time. So there's no reason for you not to join either one of them. So yeah, hope to see you guys on Patreon, Discord, and being part of the family. So the wait is over. Chapter 45 of the light novel, corresponding chapter 87 in the webcomic, coming at you today. So with that all out the way, let's get straight into this reading. Chapter 45. You Dare. Alright. The incoming students of all races were cheering for each of the student council members went silent when Tess walked in. With her gunmetal silver hair swaying behind her, dignified steps echoed throughout the silent auditorium. She single-handedly changed the atmosphere inside the entire building. Dang, she has that energy? What the hell? As she bowed and tucked her hair behind her ear, a roar of applause erupted as both males and females alike cheered with admiration. I thought the cheers would last a lot longer, but as soon as Tess started speaking, it was as if each of the students in the crowd covered each mouth so that they could hear her voice. Wow. That seems like they give more respect to Tess than Good Sky. Because Good Sky had to silence them while she was trying to talk. But like, what kind of power does Tess have? Like, what the heck? Wow, okay. My name is Tessia Earthland, and I'm honored to stand here as the Academy Student Council President. Murmurs started after the crowd once again cheered for our beautiful president. Next to me, a scrawny human boy spoke excitedly to his friend beside him. That's the Prince Elthrin I was talking about. My older brother told me that she's been on campus since last year as a direct disciple under the director and will start formally attending this school with us. Director Good Sky? Direct disciple? Whoa. What? Damn. Direct disciple. So that's literally similar to our boy Art and Veron. It's kind of like they're just flipping it. Like it really is. Art's a human. His master was Veron, which is an elf. Good Sky is a human. The disciple, an elf. Interesting. Wow, that's pretty dope though. So she was training the whole time before school even started. Okay. He leaned into his friend, so only he could hear, but the volume at which she spoke betrayed him. That means she was the first non-human to set foot on the campus. Wait, she's only a first year, and she's already the student council president? Is that even possible? That dude makes a good point. She is the first year. That is pretty crazy. The president already? But there's a lot of changes, so we shall see. His friend, whom I couldn't really see, spoke louder and louder with each word, causing the neighboring students to hear as well. Yeah, I heard of her as well. She's supposedly a super genius of some sort, right? What the hell? She's so damn pretty, and she's talented as well? This isn't even fair. I wondered what I would have to do to get her to even look at me. Oh my god. The audience was filled with different talks about Tess, but while the males, it revolved around how much of an unattainable star she was. For the females, it was a mixture of admiration and envy. Sylvie was going crazy on top of my head as she recognized Tess down on stage. Goo! Papa! That's Mama! She's down there! Let's go say hi! Sylv jumped up and down, and I picked her up and wrapped my arms around her. Oh my god. Who's your mama? I couldn't help but sigh in defeat at her excitement. Tess became pretty close to Sylvie a bit after hatching, so I could see why she was so fond of her. But mama? Yo, that's a little bit too that's a little bit too far. Sylvie, come on, bro, mama? Yo. But it's more clues that they're going to be together. But it does make sense because I was like, wait, white? That's kind of weird. But she did hatch when she was in the Elf Kingdom, so I mean, that home should be a little bit more homey than the, the Catherine. Whoa, Elijah, who I had stopped paying attention to, firmly gripped my arm with both of his hands as if he needed me to support him from fainting. Whoa, he repeated. For how smart he looked, he sure acted like an idiot at times like these. You okay there, Elijah? I lightly nudged his head, but it just bounced like a bobblehead toy. Art! I think I'm in love. He suddenly released my hands as he firmly gripped my arm to link arms with me, as if to imagine I was Tess. Oh, let's see how Art feels about that. Okay, this is getting out of hand. I released my bond to attack, and she promptly locked her jaw onto the top of Elijah's head, wow, causing him to start screaming more from surprise than pain. Oh, sorry. With Sylvia still dangling on the crown of his head, Elijah let go of my arm and started focusing on the stage below again. Yo, so we can kind of see right there, like, Art didn't want to show that he was like, yo, this is my girl, but hey, if he didn't care that much, he wouldn't let Sylvie attack him, just saying. Yo. Anywho, as the crowd settled down, enough for Tess to start speaking again, Good Sky silently disappeared. Tess spoke eloquently enough to surprise even me. She was only 13, yet she had the ability to draw the crowd full of attention with her adorned words filled with maturity. She spoke about the principles of this academy, how this was a holy ground where students should feel safe to walk freely around. Tess emphasized the discipline one would face if anyone hurt another student outside of the consent duel. While I may be a first year, as all of you are, having given the privilege to be inside the academy a year longer made it all too apparent to me that there is a deep embedded discrimination against the Scholar Mage and the Battle Mage students. I, for one, will not tolerate any sort of aggressiveness or bullying based on the trivial fact that one is a Scholar Mage student. Tess' voice never wavered as she stood behind the podium. Wow. I hope she talks about, the differences within races. Is that just something that we're not going to, bring up? Because that's something bigger than I think, being a scholar and a battle mage. Just saying. The crowd grew a little noisy at this statement, as everyone present had heard rumors of the hardships one may face as a Scholar Mage student. Starting this year, while uniforms and the upper courses requirements may be different, for the first 2 years, general education that contains a mixture of both Scholar Mage classes and Battle Mage classes will be mandatory, for a better assimilation between the two different types of students. After the 2 years are up, one may choose to switch their education specifically by taking a test, although it will be quite a difficult one. The last statement drew a dissatisfied complaint from amongst the students in the crowd. While both Elijah and I didn't have to take a test due to a special condition with Director Goodsky, most students, regardless of background, had to test for either a Scholar Mage or a Battle Mage position. What Whoa, okay, so go in more detail about this, because if that's the case, what if they fail both tests? Would they just get kicked out of Cyrus? Yo, so you could get what you want, but at the end of those 2 years, if you don't pass the test, you're either kicked out of the school, because I'm assuming if you want to be a battle mage and you don't make the test, then you can't be a battle mage, obviously. And then if you want to be a scholar mage and you don't pass the test, you can't be a scholar mage either. So what's the next outcome? You're gonna get kicked out. To get in as a scholar mage, an incoming student only needs a basic foundation of magic, which was mana gathering. While they had to take a written exam to test their mental acuteness, the practical portion of the exam was much more simple. Battle mage students, however, had a much stricter practical exam and actually performed base spells or techniques dependent on whether they were a conjurer or argumenter. It may have seemed like a cakewalk for someone like Elijah, Tess, or me, but I admit it could be quite a challenge for someone who had just awakened. The tall, stern-looking student stepped up next, silencing the crowd with a wave of his hand. Okay, my name is Clive Graves. Okay, that's a stern-looking dude. Clive Graves, that's his name. Okay, so I want to know if he's a human or a dwarf, to be honest. I am a student vice president. As the president mentioned, this year contains many challenges, along with the assimilation and freedom to move between the two student types. There will be no limit on how long a student can attend this academy. While in the past, the professors here push students to graduate after 4 years, it is becoming more and more apparent that many graduate mages' capability are becoming less than satisfactory. Therefore, the director has declared that instead of a time limit on graduation, in order to graduate from Cyrus Academy, one needs to fulfill a list of requirements and pass the graduation exam. While the conditions to graduate have become many-fold harder, the time limit to graduate has increased to 10 years. Wow! 10 years! That's gonna be a long arc. Oh my god. In that time, we frequently hope to produce top-class mages in both theoretical and combat fields. We welcome everyone here, humans, elves, and dwarfs alike, to this academy. Clive bowed. The rest of the student council followed him. The last part of the announcement wasn't exactly news for any of us. It was announced quite recently though, which made me think that it had something to do with the new continent. Was this academy being used to produce high quality mages in case of future battle against the new continent? Exactly. That's the firstborn son of the Grey family. Make sure you don't get on his bad side. The boy next to me whispered, again, in a pointlessly loud volume. After finishing up the ceremony, all the new students were dismissed to their dorms. Filing out of the auditorium, my eyes unconsciously looked for Tess, but she was nowhere in sight. Outside, the trees arched over the marble walkway, producing small showers of fall-colored leaves. This is going to be beautiful in the webcomic. The students were all excited, chatting amongst their peers, getting to know new people. Walking deeper within the campus to where the dorms were, I saw a few female students pass by Elijah and I, doing a double take back at us and giggled with their friends. Elijah sighed. I feel like I became more significantly less better looking when I'm next to you. Elijah's shoulder hunched as we walked along side by side. Sylvie pitifully patted Elijah's head from top of mine. Oh my god. Well, even if most of them come after me, some of the girls will have to eventually settle for you. Right, buddy? Oh my god, I teased, giving him a playful wink. Screw you. He hit me on the stomach as both of us laughed. Suddenly, a loud explosion startled the both of us, as well as the students walking around nearby. Something was happening at the end of the marble walkway. After a quick exchange of glances, Elijah and I shot off. I don't see how a short-ass dwarf like you can ever hope to be a proper argumenter. Whoa. Why don't you stick to forging some weapons for real warriors like me? What the hell did you say? Who do you think you are, anyway? Okay, so the way they say this is like, I guess is the language of the dwarf, or their slang. how they talk, because you guys can't see it, but like it's worded really differently, like it's not like proper. But I didn't know they talk like that. So that means Elijah's not really a dwarf. I never thought Elijah was a dwarf, but what is Elijah? I'm intrigued now. Okay, anyway. I stopped running a good distance away and shook my head when I realized what was going on. It was just a stupid argument between two students. The explosion had been made by the human, hitting his fist on a nearby tree with mana. Couldn't this become dangerous? Elijah looked around where some of the students had to deliberately walk around both of them, just in case they started fighting. We were amongst the last to leave the auditorium, so most were already deeper within the campus or inside their dorms, so there weren't many people around. But if they did start fighting, some of the students in the vicinity may get caught up in the mess. Bro, this is exactly what I'm talking about, the racism. And this is before they even found out like being a battle mage and stuff. Like, yo, this is the bigger problem, bruh. It's gonna be a crazy school year. They wouldn't dare to do something like fight on the first day, right? Let's just go. I try to nudge my friend to a roundabout route, avoiding the two arguing students. Come on, we have nothing to do besides unpack anyway. Let's just see how good they are. Look, the human looks to be a second level argumenter. He points at the brawny human. Looking at them, both the dwarf and the human student had battle mage uniforms, but the human had 2 stripes on his tie while the dwarf only had 1. My name is Nicholas Dre. Declare the duel, short ass, so we can start. Or are you all bark and no bite? The human smirked, placing his right hand on the badge pin to his left breast. You're going to be sorry. The dwarf that was a head shorter than his opponent with a bulky build looked awkward wearing the blaze uniform, but the way he carried his giant battle axe with ease told me that he was more than what the single stripe on his tie told us. The metal badge on both the human and the dwarf glowed brightly as the dwarf placed his hand on his badge and started chanting, I declare a duel between me, Bronson Bull, and Nicholas Dre. I accept the duel. The 2 badges glowed different colors. They synced together, producing a loud ping sound. Wow. The badge on the battle mage uniform and the pocket watch on the scholar mage uniform acted as artifacts for the dueling system, creating a barrier around the users that could take a certain amount of force. Oh, so people can't get hurt from it. When the barrier broke, the duel was considered over, and the other party the winner. It took around 24 hours for the artifact to change another barrier, where during that time, dueling was prohibited. Mages of a higher level weren't allowed to issue a duel with lower levels to keep it fair, which was why the human had to taunt the dwarf to start the duel. Oh, it makes sense because he's a level 2 and the dwarf's a level 1. Okay. That's why he said you start the duel and he didn't start it. Okay. The human mage took out dual swords from his dimension ring, got into a stance as the people around started backing up to avoid getting caught into the fight. Go dwarf! Elijah started cheering in favor for Bronzering, getting dirty looks in the process. I studied the 2 argumenters and saw that the level 2 human was a red core mage, while the dwarf was still at black stage. This should be interesting. Ha! The human student roared as his 2 broadswords glowed a dim yellow color and the earth surrounding him started trembling. Ah! The dwarf leaped up and propelled himself forward by pushing off of a nearby tree, charging his battle axe as well with earth attribute mana. Oh! Both are earth attribute argumenters. Art! Elijah got more excited by leaning closer towards the fight as Sylvie curled up, sound asleep on my head. She's not. This is boring to her, honestly. That's cute. That's cool that we've seen that Sylvie doesn't even care. Tremor smash, the dwarf shouted, placing his left palm on the head of his axe and making the dull glow condense. With a resonating boom, the power of the blow from the dwarf forced the human to skip back. Even as he blocked with both of his swords, he could see his arms shaking as he grimaced. The human boy lowered his 2 swords and dashed towards the dwarf, who was already in a defensive stance. The dual swords scraped along the ground As he got into range, he swung up, a trail of earth following along, creating twin blades of earth after each sword. Oh, interesting. Not bad. While it wasn't surprising that the dwarf could already use earth attribute element, it surprised me that the human in the red stage could already augment his earth attribute to that degree. He was talented in that sense. Shatter. The dwarf's body glowed yellow as he stomped his right foot hard onto the ground, creating a ripple around him that broke the earth blade approaching him into fragments. The dwarf blocked the human's two actual blades with his axe, but got a little scrape on his arm from the upward swing. Earth Pillar, Nick exclaimed, following an upward swipe. He stomped hard with his leading foot directly in front of the dwarf, creating a pretty fatigued column of rock from the ground that hit the dwarf squarely in the stomach. Oof! The dwarf's body lifted into the air from the force of the blow, and his shield broke a loud shattering sound, signaling that the duel was over. Dang, the dwarf lost. Cheers went off from the humans that gathered, but the dwarfs amongst the audience groaned in embarrassment. Elijah just sighed and started to leave, but before I turned to follow him, I saw a slight smirk on the human's face as he once again imbued mana into his two blades. Wow, that fool wasn't planning on finishing it with that. He was going for the final blow. He's trying to kill him? If I were to use a long-range technique, that would create even more problems. But if I went there and directly interfered, everyone would know my face. I was pretty frustrated that Elijah couldn't figure out that the human was going to cast another technique. If Elijah intervened with a spell, it would be more natural since he was a conjurer. There was this way, too. Sorry, Tess. Is that the student council president I see coming over? I deliberately yelled louder so that the human boy that won the duel would start staring. Just like I anticipated, he clicked his tongue and put his sword back into his dimension ring, jerking his eyes around to find the president. The crowd that was talking amongst their friends analyzed the duel, all started looking around for Tess. Where's the student council president? Elijah stretched his neck above the crowd to look for her. Oh my god. Oops, I must have been mistaken. I just shrugged my shoulders and turned to walk past when a hand firmly grasped my shoulder. Are you picking a fight with me or something, brat? It was the human that was just dueling. Nicole, or whatever. Yeah, what the hell, man? Getting us all excited for nothing. I saw some of the humans evidently disappointed at not being able to see their idol in person. I thought I saw her. Once again, my bad. I used my hand to peel off his hand off my shoulder, giving him a wink. Oh my god. Yeah, you're bad. He snatched his hand away before he walked off, spitting on the ground in front of my feet. You know, a good piece of advice if you want to graduate. I don't think killing that dwarf boy would have done you any good. I stood still as Sylvie spat directly at the back of his neck. Yo. Sylvie spit on him? He instantly whirled back around with the two swords in his hands once again. Oops, I shouldn't have laughed in this situation. I took a quick glance back and saw that Elijah was just shaking his head, knowing it was too late. You dare? The 13-year-old boy, with swords too large for his immature body, dashed towards me in a manner I found clumsy, preparing to cross-chop with the two blades, his face bright red in anger. I raised an eyebrow as I lifted one hand up to stop the blow. Why make myself look foolish? Just as I prepared to shatter his two swords, a voice stopped him straight in his tracks. It was the voice that all the new students heard not too long ago, and the voice probably every male had fallen in love with. It was also the voice of my childhood friend. Do you dare? ? Yo, Tessia is coming through. Tessia is coming through. Yo, okay. So that was the title of this chapter, and the 13 boy said you dare, and I'm assuming Tessia is saying you dare now too. I think she's talking to the 13-year-old boy, because right now Art's defending himself. Yes, Sylvie did spit on the boy's neck, which is, you know, I don't think the boy knew that Sylvie did that. I think the boy thought the Art did that. That's why he's furious too. I'll be furious as well. So it's not like he's just, you know, being a hothead. But they didn't accept a duel. He's just rushing at him. So let's see the consequences. Let's see how Tessia will handle this situation, and if she's gonna be all, you know, strict and president-like with our boy Art, because the way that we're seeing Tessia now in the novel and in the webcomic too, she looks way too mature, and she's only like 14, 13. Like, I like the artwork, but she's only 13 or 14. Why does she look so old, so much older and mature? I don't like that. I know if it's signifying her being more mature in that situation, but I hope the art like gradually goes back to like something more natural for Tess, because it just looks off. To me, personally, to me, her design in this series thus far in the webcomic. But we shall see, we shall see. So with that all out the way, that ends this chapter. So yeah, I hope you guys are all looking forward to the next chapter as well too. God, I can't wait to do the analysis video about this, because this is going to be good. And yeah, I'm just excited to read more of the light novel each week, and it'll be awesome to get you guys to read alongside with me too. So yeah, get excited for the webcomic reviews every Friday. Every Saturday, get ready for the light novel readings, and every Sunday, get ready for the analysis videos for Begin After the End chapter, whatever that drops that week. So with that all out the way, I hope you guys are all having a great day, and remember, please smash that like button. Let's get 100 likes. Really helps the channel grow, and it takes less than a second, especially if you made it all the way to the end. It will be much appreciated. And also remember to smash the sub button as well too. Join the family. If you love Begin After the End, and if you love my content, this will be the best place to be to get all of that doses of heat. So with all of the way, I hope you guys all have a phenomenal day or night wherever you guys are from. And remember, don't stop leveling up. Savvy Nut signing out.